Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable for some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable for some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable for some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable for some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable for some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable for some audiences.
Hey wrestling fans, welcome to another fun-packed edition, and I do mean fun, of Wrestling POV Global. I'm your host, the legend TJ Logan. With me, the Studley, the erstwhile, the mysterious, sometimes in jail, gentleman Elio Canella. Elio?
What's going on? How are you doing, TJ?
I'm doing great. I'm glad you made bail.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but I managed to avoid the authorities and I jumped the wall.
Well, you know what? Fans, we're not going to get into what happened really with Elio, but let's just say him and Jeff Hardy had one heck of a fun time this weekend and involved copious amounts of alcohol. So, you know what? To each his own. Anyway, Elio, this has been a crazy, crazy week for me, man.
It has been.
You've probably seen pictures on Facebook and fans who have me on Instagram. I had to go to 2 weddings this weekend.
Yep.
All right? I was the best man in a wedding in Central Alberta, and then I got in a car, drove an hour and a half south to the airport in Calgary, and missed my plane.
You know what?
Yes?
You were Ric Flair this weekend. You were jet flying, limousine riding. Wow.
More like jet flying, limousine late. But you know what? I did try and steal a few kisses from the stewardesses. Unfortunately, they were guy stewardesses, so that just turned out to be just awkward and messy. No. But you know what, friends? I did miss my flight. This was the first time in my life I've missed a flight. They would not let me on the plane. They said I was too late to board. Wow. So they gave me a ticket for the next flight 12 hours later. I was going to stay in the airport, but my friend put me up at a hotel. And the next morning he took me to the airport. I got there 45 minutes early, Elio, and when I got to security, I almost didn't make it in because there was security out the wing-wang, man. It was down the hallway. It was crazy long. However,
should we put that flight on in the book for not letting you on?
You know what? Let's face it. My ride got me there 7 minutes before the plane left, so I kind of think it might have been their fault. So no, I'm not going to put the air flight this time. But I had an express pass, made it through all of security super fast, until there was some idiot in front of me whose girlfriend decided she was going to take like 20 bottles of liquid randomly in her bag on the flight. Wow. So can you imagine how long that took as they went through everything? I did get panicked.
No, that's painful.
We're standing there. I'm like 2 people away from going, well, this idiot's getting all her stuff going through. And then I hear last call from they call out my name over the loudspeaker, and I'm like, oh, crud. Oh. Because I'm at gate 1, and it's at gate 18, right? And
wow.
And thank you, Calgary, for being so damn cheap that you didn't fix your floor escalator, because, man, I had to run 18 gates to get there. I made it by like 5 minutes. They said, you made it in 5, you still have 5 minutes. I'm like, holy crap. Jeez. You do not realize how much my wife would have killed me and my family had I not got on that flight. So I did get on the flight. We got to Kelowna. Everything after that was copacetic. We had fun. But in the midst of all of this, there was, wrestling does not stop for holidays, missed planes, or anything. There was a lot of stuff going on this week.
There is no off season.
Yeah, no kidding. This is the one time I really get what that means. What we're going to talk about, fans, is, this week there were 3 major, I guess you really can't call them pay-per-views so much, but 3 major shows that were shown across different networks, competing for your time and dollar. We're going to touch on all 3 of them. We have Evolve, which was such a good show that we don't even usually cover Evolve, but we had to mention some of the stuff that happened here.
Okay.
We had Fight for the Fallen, AEW's second, third major show when you think about it. And then we had nights 2, 3, and 4 of New Japan's G1 tournament. Some great wrestling. Thank God it was good wrestling because I mean I had to sit and watch all of this stuff, but it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Before we get started though, let's get into our poll this week. Now,
Okay.
fans, a lot of people say sometimes I can be a bit of a jerk or an ass, and that sometimes I can do and say outrageous things. But I gotta say, after this poll, I find it strange that 65% of the people who answered this are bigger jerks than I am. And that's pretty hard to be a bigger jerk than me because I work at it, okay? Um, this whole poll came out of last, a week or so ago when we saw Tessa Blanchard taking on Sami Callihan in an
Sure.
intergender match where anything goes, and it basically
Uh-huh.
turned into a hardcore affair involving baseball bats, chairs, jumping pile
Yep.
drivers, and
Yep.
lots of stuff that I know the gentleman was not cool with, and
Nope.
I'm definitely not cool with. Now, before we get into this, let's say why we're not cool with this, okay? It doesn't have anything to do, we do know that wrestling is predetermined. Tessa Blanchard went in there knowing exactly what was going to happen to her, and, you know, every safety precaution was taken to make it look much more painful than anything that happened. But that isn't where I have the problem. Where I have the problem is the way people are looking at it and the way people are accepting that it's okay to
Mhm.
book this kind of garbage. Okay? Yeah, sure, it made Tessa Blanchard look super strong. It made Sami Callihan look like a bigger villain. But it's just something I don't want to see. And I got to ask you, first of all, how about you, gentlemen? Is this the kind of stuff you want to see? Do you want to see women fighting men in hardcore settings?
No. And again, like I said last week from last week's poll on chair shots, this 2019, this is a different time. It's a different era. There's no room for those matches in today's wrestling. Maybe in 1998 that would have been cool, but even then I wasn't even a big fan of it. So no, I don't want to see any of these matches on my screen.
Now, as much as people may call me a jerk and say that I kind of am a little bit mean sometimes with the things I talk about here on the show, you know what? Maybe I'm old fashioned, but there's nothing cool about beating a woman. Okay,
No, there's
and
nothing cool.
yeah, and these kind of matches, it's almost like, you know, I'm not trying to say that women are weaker than men. I'm not trying to make some kind of gender inequality issue here. But the
Hmm.
fact of the matter is, I can't think of anywhere where I think it's acceptable that a man takes it upon himself to injure a woman. I mean, hitting her with a baseball bat, getting your friends to hold her down while you tool her over, finishing it with a very vicious pile driver. None of these things were cool.
Now I would question actually.
Yes, go ahead.
Now we don't really talk about this on our show, but has have they had any of these matches in WWE as of late?
No,
Okay,
still not
see,
yet. Although,
another thing is imagine
mhm,
the sponsors that they lose
exactly.
in today's society.
Now I
They
get
lose a whole lot of sponsors.
Well, they would. And I get the fact. I mean, you look around and ever since AEW has been kind of sniffing around doing their shows, it seems like every other company is just kind of pushing the envelope a little, trying to be that super edgy, we're like ECW of the 90s kind of vibe.
Yeah, no, ECW's over. Sorry.
Yeah. That was a time that is gone. We don't need that kind of stuff anymore. So, I think that people, instead of like using these clichéic, horrible shock value, which doesn't work. Why can't you just
Mhm.
do better writing and better wrestling? That's the key here. That's the formula, and it shows. This week when we talk about some of the shows, why was Evolve so cool? Because the wrestling and the story that was being told in those matches were very strong. Same as
It's
New
like
Japan.
It's like Ric Flair said. The sign on the marquee says professional wrestling.
Exactly. Exactly. So you know what, fans? I am disappointed in the because for me, it's not that I was wanting to win or lose in this thing. It just gives me a very sad glimpse into what this world's becoming. When 65% of the people responding to this poll were like, "Yeah, man, let's book
I
them
can't
chicks."
believe that number.
Yeah,
Wow, 65.
I don't know what to say, Elio. I'm very disappointed in our fans, and I don't know. let's hope that we're not in a society right now where viciousness and cruelty is okay, because it's not in my world. But I guess we'll have to see what our fans really want these days. I'm just stunned. Okay, I know there was a
Nah.
comment. Can you read the comment that was there?
Yeah,
Hopefully,
there
this
was.
comment will put some like wisdom back and some faith back in me from the fans. So please read it out.
So there was one comment on the poll, and from Josh Sanders, he says, "Not all the time. Once a year wouldn't be too bad, or just for the 24/7 championship."
Wow. Okay. I guess my faith isn't restored in humanity.
Wow.
I mean, that's akin to saying, you know what? It's not cool to beat your wife, but maybe once a year around Christmas, you give her the old Santa Claus heave ho. Ah,
I
not
have,
cool.
a,
Not
I
cool.
have a question. Is he feuding with Rick Serrano?
I don't know. I try not
Yeah,
to involve myself.
I was listening to to their show this week.
Mm-hmm.
They had a bet going.
Uh-huh. And what was the bet? I didn't get to catch it. I've been on touring out here.
Well, if Josh Sanders beat Rick in the poll,
Mm-hmm.
he won
Yeah.
right now. As of right now, he had the Rick Serrano the third award. But if he
Mm-hmm.
beat Rick in the poll, he would no longer have that award.
And which poll was that? Their poll?
I
Or
mean,
our
I'm
poll?
sorry, in the POV game, in the
Did he beat
the Extreme Rules POV game.
Did he beat him?
You know what? I don't even have the exact numbers here.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's
But
okay.
I think I saw his name above Rick's.
Okay. Well, you know what, Josh Sanders, you may not be a turd over in Wrestling POV, but that comment kind of makes you a turd in my book. So if we had the Global Turd Award, you'd be walking home with a gold-plated version.
Oh, jeez.
All right, let's move on. No more. I'm tired of this disappointing nonsense. Let's just move on.
Let's
and
get into
see what
the
else we got going on.
wrestling.
All right, we got some news this week. Like I say, I've been styling, profiling, and jet swinging across this world. I've been kiss stealing, whatever.
Yeah, the Nature Boy TJ Logan. For news, there's more AEW, but it's not really much news. There were two entries to report. The first is Britt Baker suffered a concussion in her match at Fight for
Britt
the
Baker.
Fallen when she took a kick to the back of the head from Bea Priestley.
Wow, and I thought she was pretty loopy calling herself Dr. Britt Baker. Now she's got an excuse to call herself
And in
Dr. Britt
NJPW, apparently Will Ospreay suffered a neck injury and might have to say goodbye to G1 Climax this year.
I really hope that's not the case. I really hope not. Will Ospreay he's been very fun in this tournament. He may not have, the first match he lost, but he won the second in his thing. I really hope that's not true. I really would. He adds excitement at a dimension that's different. So
Well, they said it
all
was
the folks
just
here.
they said it was just a stinger, but nothing serious. So let's hope.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
And I got to say, all even the fans, even the turd holders, probably wish you the best of luck, Will Ospreay, and we look forward to seeing you more because the New Japan G1 Cup is a place to make your name. Even though you're wrestling for New Japan, this is a chance to make your name a household name, and that would be awesome, and you deserve it. So let's hope you're doing good. Okay, what else you got for me, buddy?
That's about it. The only one is another match that's not been yet been confirmed for All Out, which we already know is going to happen with Cody taking on Shawn Spears.
I think that one's a given for all that we've seen. That's for sure.
Yep. So that's not really news. That's all the news I have on my end.
Okay. Well, fans, you know what? Like I said, there was a lot of wrestling going on this week. There was quite a few matches that were, what's the word? I'm sometimes hesitant to call them pay-per-views because I'm not sure if people actually pay-per-view them anymore. I know the WWE Network hosted an Evolve show, which at first seems really odd because we don't usually cover Evolve very much because, I don't know, we just don't really cover it.
The WWE Network might as well be free because they keep saying every month that for new subscribers that event is free.
Yeah. So I mean, how hard is it to just cancel your thing and put a new
Seriously.
Yeah, you get yourself a new email address and you could be a guy almost every time. So maybe not the best way to do business, but all right. So anyways, the WWE Network did in fact have Evolve on it. I'm not going to go over the whole card, but there are a few really cool matches that happened on there. We're going to talk a bit about AEW's Fight for the Fallen, which was I'm going to say a little bit better than average card, but it wasn't a blowaway card. And then, of course, we're going to talk about nights 2, 3, and 4 of the
Okay.
G1. Okay? Let's start off, first of all, with the Evolve show. Now, there were some interesting matches in here that surprised me about,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, Evolve hasn't always been on my radar because there's not a lot of things I really want to see going on in it. But this time there was a few really cool. Well, there's some guys coming over from NXT that really made the matches really interesting.
Yep.
Let's take a look first of all. Well, first of all, I want to talk about the women's match that was on there. That was kind of off the hook crazy. We had Shotzi Blackheart taking
Mm-hmm.
on Brandy Lauren in a no
Okay.
disqualification match. And I got to
Wow.
tell you, man, these two ladies were not ladies to each other. They really beat the crap out of each other. And we saw a level of violence that's, I don't mind the idea of two women having to settle their differences and fighting violently. I don't have a problem with women getting hurt. I have a problem with men getting involved and hurting women. But this match was really cool. There was even a spot in there I seen where Shotzi had set up about 4 chairs with them
Right.
like kind of face to face and side to side, so it's like a little square, right? And she put
Oh,
another
okay.
chair on top and then put Brandy Lauren on top of it. And the idea
Oh.
was she was going to run and do like a tope suicida right through the ropes and try
Oh.
and nail her. She goes to do a run. Wrestler Anthony Green gets in the way, stops her, so she kind of boots him, and then she turns around to do the move again. By the time she comes flying through the ropes, Brandy Lauren misses, so she pulls like a PCO and goes face first into a bunch of chairs, hurting herself.
Oh.
It,
Oh
it was
no.
pretty intense, pretty wild, and I gotta say I didn't really expect that sort of violence, but it was fun. It was pretty cool. We got to see the Evolved Tag Team Championship change. It was cool for me to see the Unwanted, the team of Eddie Kingston and Joe Gacy. Now, I've been an Eddie Kingston fan for a very long time. He has floated
Mm-hmm.
all across many independent organizations, has yet to ever have a really good look from WWE. So this was cool that he happened to be on a network show now. So hopefully, maybe somebody watched that and thought, hey, maybe we should give this Kingston guy a try. They lost their match. They lost their belts to AR Fox and Leon Ruff. AR
Yep.
Fox is a guy that we have talked about before on Lucha Underground. A very innovative African American wrestler who I would suggest people trying out because he seems like he'd be the kind of fit for WWE down the line.
Okay.
We also had what kind of a reunion match of sorts because these guys were all together in Evolve in a faction. But we got to see Matt Riddle coming over from NXT to take on 205's Drew Gulak. Gulak, who is the current mid heavyweight champion. Talk about a great match. This was really breathtaking. I mean, I know a lot of people have seen Matt Riddle and are very, the Ultimate Bro is actually a very good MMA style fighter. But people tend to forget how great Drew Gulak is. I mean, he talks a lot of crap and he does a lot of silly things, but the thing is, this guy can wrestle. When you say wrestle, he's a capital W for wrestle. The guy knows his stuff. Awesome match, and hopefully it reminded people who tuned in to see this that Drew Gulak really is the real thing. He's not just a
Mm-hmm.
bunch. He's not just a character. Then I want to talk about the main event, which had Adam Cole, the NXT world champion, putting his belt up against Akira Tozawa, who we've seen a lot on WWE's 205 Live.
Right.
Tozawa, very hard hitting Japanese wrestler with an in your face kind of style. Adam Cole, man, he is something else. I mean, you want to hate the guy as much as you can, but when you watch him
Yeah.
wrestle, this guy knows what he's doing in the ring.
Hey.
Really good match.
Tozawa came from Evolve.
Sorry,
Tozawa came over from Evolve
he get
when he joined WWE. That's where he
yes.
came from. Yep.
Yes, a lot of these guys had been involved earlier on, and I'm pretty sure that Adam Cole probably had a few matches involved back in the day. Um, it was a really good match, like
Mm-hmm.
really hard hitting, really guys going right at it sort of matches that are just fun. You know, overall, I don't think people thought this Evolve show was going to be so cool, but it was. It really was. So fans, I would
Okay.
suggest checking it out. Now, I'd like to move over to AEW here and talk about Fight for the Fallen. And
Okay.
now, the Fight for the Fallen, oh, I'm never sure now about AEW. I've wanted it to succeed.
Right.
Um, Double or Nothing had a few really good matches and some terrible, terrible matches. This time we got a few good matches and some so-so matches. Nothing.
Now, sorry, I have a question before you on. Of the three shows that we've seen so far, which one do you think is was better?
Of the you mean of
AEW?
You know what? I'm gonna go with this one being the more solid of the three so
Okay.
far. If not, with not having the hype though that Double or Nothing had. You know.
Okay.
Let's take a quick look at some of the matches that were in there. There was an interesting three-way match that opened it up that had the team of MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Shawn Spears defeating Darby Allin, Joey Janela, and Jimmy Havoc. Kind of weird Jimmy Havoc being on the side of good for this one. Because everyone knows how we feel about him. Very
Because
violent.
it was it was also kind of weird seeing Darby Allin being on the good side for once.
Well, and Joey Janela, I mean, when you really think about it, it was kind of like the team of jerks versus the team of bigger jerks, I guess, because it seemed like guys who aren't really the heroes being the heroes. So. Good match, lots of violence, lots of crazy things. Brandy Rhodes versus Allie. Wow.
Uh-oh.
Brandy Rhodes may look incredible in wrestling attire. She is not that great of a wrestler. She's kind of weak. And Allie carried her through this match. Allie eats the pin, loses. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I guess it's probably the best you could get in a Brandy Rhodes match, right?
And we saw Awesome Kong again.
Say again. Oh, yeah, it's an Awesome Kong. Then we had a very strange two teams I really didn't know much about. It wasn't the greatest match, but it was the Dark Order taking on Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, taking on Jack Evans and Angelico.
Now, aren't the Dark Order, weren't they that team that was renamed? Weren't they the Super Smash Brothers?
You know, I think they were actually. Yeah.
Because I was looking them up, and they're both from Canada. They both are competed for Smash.
Well, you know what?
Smash Wrestling.
This wasn't the greatest of matches. It was so.
Okay.
It seemed like a lot more spotty stuff, and I think this is where it started. People were starting to think, well, maybe this won't be the best thing ever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I do know coming out of this that the Dark Order will be taking on Best Friends on the next pay-per-view.
Oh,
so that's going to be something to look for. Next match, Hangman Adam Page defeating Kip Sabian. I mean, I don't think there was anyone who really thought Kip Sabian was going to win this match.
I don't even think Kip Sabian thought he was going to win the match.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So match. Adam Page looking good, and I guess he has to look good. I mean, he's got Jericho coming up. Jericho running out and making an attack on Page at the end of this match, fueling for that next match. Then we had SCU's Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky losing to the Lucha Brothers. Really interesting battle. I kind of like this one. The Lucha Brothers always have a kind of a unique twist on tag team wrestling. And Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, these guys are so fun together, you know? Scorpio Sky has reinvigorated Kazarian and Daniels, and I really like what he brings to the table. I think he's an exciting wrestler who, I don't know, he just makes that difference. And this was a fun match. What's that
thing they always say? Every time is the worst time they've been in.
Yeah, that's a Frankie Kazarian thing. I remember I interviewed him once about that, and he was saying that he would never have guessed years ago that someday he'd be insulting a town and that would sell more T-shirts than anything else he could possibly say. So yeah, he really enjoys that sort of thing. Next up had to be, which I consider the match of the night, had to be Kenny Omega versus CIMA. CIMA, who I haven't seen for a while. Kenny Omega, I still think he's the main event guy, man. He is really a strong wrestler, and he really put on a great show here. The main event, the Young Bucks versus Cody and Dustin Rhodes. Interesting type match. I mean, I'm so used to the Young Bucks fighting all these other spot monkey kind of teams. To see them fight two accomplished wrestlers, had them change up their style quite a bit, had them work like I haven't seen them work for a while to actually get a good wrestling match. It was exciting. The Young Bucks take the win. I do know that the Lucha Brothers come out later and are not happy with the Young Bucks and demand a ladder match. So we're going to see where that's going to end up. Overall, I thought it was a strong show, but not a great show. Okay. And I still think it was the most balanced so far of the shows we've seen. But let's see where we're going to go with this.
Okay.
I'm still, for every time I see a good, SEMA versus Omega match, I see some other dreck that they have on the bottom of the card, and I think, ugh, where is this going to go? So, all in all, a very interesting uh, weekend. Now, let's talk a bit about New Japan, man.
New Japan,
Fans,
and I saw day 1, day 2, and day 3.
you mean day 2, 3, and 4? We saw day 1 last
No,
week.
well,
Remember?
day 1 was last week, July
Yeah.
6th. Yeah,
So, did you see days 2, 3, and 4?
I
Or
did.
just
I
2 and
didn't
3?
see. I didn't see 4. I saw 2 and 3 though.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about. Let's talk about day 2 first of all. Okay.
Okay.
Day 2 was the B block, and
Mm-hmm.
there were some interesting matches on here. There was one match though, and what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to tell you a bit about how these things have been going. And every time that there's been a day, I'm going to tell you which match I think is the one match you should probably go on to that day and check out that match more than the others to get a really good feel of what's going on in New Japan. Now, day 2, it's hard to determine things in day. It's day 1 actually of B block, day 2 of the tournament. So it's not like you can really get too much of an impression where things may go. That being said, day 1 gave us a Lance Archer who made everyone go, man, if this guy stays like this, he could go
Yeah,
all the way.
yeah. Day 2 surprised me. Like with some of the results, like Lance
Mhm.
Archer over oh, who
Will
was it that
Ospreay.
he was facing? Will Ospreay. Yeah, Lance Archer over Will Ospreay.
I mean,
And
interesting, good.
he's one of the guys that we said we didn't think he'd actually
Do all that
he
well.
would do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of the guys that are in this, some of the guys I expected more from or better from, but not exactly getting that from from some of the guys. For some of the guys that
Oh no.
that are competing in here now, it's kind of like these kind of things really. This kind of tournament can really set a weird bar. We made a whole bunch of predictions last week, and already we're seeing some of our predictions undo, and it makes you question, but it also makes you excited because now we're seeing a lot more surprise, and I guess that could be in a way fun.
Yeah.
Now here, folks. Here's where we got to look at some of the nights, and I'm going to try and say how I've assessed some of these guys and how maybe my assessments were wrong or whatever. Um, First of all, Lance Archer. Got to talk
Okay.
about how crazy of a start he's had. He beats Will
Right.
Ospreay in round 1. In
Mm-hmm.
day 2 of his block, he defeats Bad Luck Fale in a really hard, tough match. I mean, these are two really big dudes. So as it is right now, that really shifts things around to make you look at Archer, because Archer got a chance to go further than we thought. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
If he keeps going the way he's been going, I'd have to say yes.
Now, going into day 2, one of the best matches. Well, first of all, folks, I know we talked about day 1 last week, but I would just like to reaffirm the match that I would pick for you to watch would definitely be Kenta versus Kota Ibushi. Really cool match on day 1. Now, day 2, here's a weird recurring thing because day 2 and 4, I have one man in both these matches, and that's
Okay.
Tomohiro Ishii, a guy who we picked as might be okay but wouldn't do so great, has been doing very good.
Yeah.
His match with Jeff Cobb, holy smokes! I mean, they threw everything and a kitchen sink at each other. It was
I was glued to my iPad the whole time, and this match.
it was hard to catch a breath, wasn't it? I mean, this was some crazy stuff, Elio. This was fun.
They threw each other around the ring. It's like holy crap. Did
Now-
that suplex off the top rope?
Yeah. There was
Yeah.
so much good stuff in this match. Lots of headbutts that I didn't expect.
Yo.
It was really hard hitting. Few of the other things to watch out for. I mean, John Moxley taking on Tai Chi wasn't exactly the best match, but it's probably better than you get out of most Tai Chi matches. So there is that.
Okay.
John Moxley, he's doing better than I thought he would too. He's won his first 2 matches in his rounds, and one guy that I picked Ospreay, but now we don't know if Ospreay will actually be able to continue on in this tournament. He seems to be struggling with some injury. He took on on
There's
day
another
3.
one that.
On day 3,
Sorry.
Ospreay had the match of the night with Sonata.
Okay.
I wasn't sure where they were going to go with that. Sonata has been looking really good. I mean, Sonata defeating Zack Sabre Jr. on night 1. Zack right now does not look the best. he's already lost his first 2 matches, and you're kind of wondering, is he going to go? Is he going to be a rub out in this or what? But Ospreay, who I thought might be switching gears here, if he's injured, that throws everything into chaos into Block A. Day 4, the best match on there, Ishii again, who I said Ishii's been against Jay White, and
wow.
I feel bad about Jay White. Jay White now 2 straight losses in rounds 1 and 2 for him. He is probably one of the cockiest, jerkiest guys on the roster, but he looks phenomenal right now. His build is like massive. He's wrestling really well, but man, he has taken some harsh losses. Right now, I would have to say as we go into days 5 and on next week, people riding the wave in, Kenta at the top of his class right now. Archer, Lance Archer, who surprise move there. Tomohiro Ishii, another surprise. Naito, having poor showing both nights, losing both matches. Little worried about him.
Also surprising me is Shingo Takagi. He's lost his matches so far.
Shingo losing his matches, going undefeated for so long and then losing. That's got to be a tough one for him. How does he get back his momentum? Well, it's kind of obvious. He was the biggest guy in the junior heavyweights, but did you see getting in the match, Juice Robinson looked bigger than him. So maybe he's not as big as a heavyweight. So this might be something to keep an eye on. Now, the amount of wrestling and the quality of wrestling has been incredible this year in the G1 so far. I'd say fans, go back, watch it. I know you don't have to wade through all the tag team matches and stuff. Watch just the championship matches. The tournament matches. But like I said...
and if you want to watch the rest, go back after you watch the main matches.
Yeah. So this week, I'm going to say day 2, I pick Ishii versus Cobb. Day 3, Ospreay versus Sonata. Day 4, Ishii versus White.
Okay.
Now, fans, we're going to take a quick break here, clear our palates. When we come back, we're going to talk about some MLW. We're going to talk some Ring of Honor, NXT UK, and we'll see what else we got on the pike. So, fans, we'll see you back in a minute.
Hello, this is Miguel Cole from the Wrestling POV podcast. Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global is affiliated with the Collar and Elbow brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com and save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Collar and Elbow has t-shirts, hoodies, sunglasses, and more. And the best part, you're helping out your local indie wrestlers. And you're helping out the best wrestling podcast of all, Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global. You don't want to miss out. So save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Oh my goodness!
What's up? This is Jeff Cobb. You're listening to WPOV Global.
And we're back. You know what? Every week, folks, as people who tune in the show regularly know, we like to cover 3. We used to cover 4, but the other one got to the point where it was boring the crap out of us, and we stopped covering it. We now cover 3 shows. We cover NXT UK, we cover major MLW's Fusion, and ROH's Snorefest of the week. I shouldn't say that, but lately it's been a bit of a Snorefest. All right. First of all, let's get into some NXT UK. Elio, take it away.
Okay, NXT UK. Once again, we are at the Download Festival. You know what? I kind of like these shows. Like it's like a different feel and from the regular, where
it's kind of a festival feel, right?
An arena.
Yeah, it's kind of a festival-like feel.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's pretty cool. So we have our opening match: Ilya Dragunov defeating Ashton Smith with his Torpedo Moscow.
Now, I'm not exactly sold on the Torpedo thing. It's not the greatest move in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like this Russian guy. He's smaller than I thought he would be, but I'm digging him. I'm starting to really enjoy him, Elio.
Yeah, at first I was like, with when he debuted his intenseness in the matches, I was like, okay, I wasn't getting him, but now like starting to grow on me, this guy. So
let's send our props to Ashton Smith. Ashton Smith did okay in this. Yeah. I mean, he's not exactly a slouch, so this wasn't a squash match, but. I'm going to say Dragunov looking good. I want to see more of him.
Yep, I want to see more of him. And sure, those are red and white contacts that he has. He's got that look like. Then we look back at Jazzy Gabbard's debut, and then we have a Cyborg side interview next.
Exactly.
Okay, you know what?
Yes.
Now, when we first when we first started, and we said we were going to start covering NXT UK.
Yeah.
And I told you I was getting behind Nina Samuels. No.
Yeah.
Okay, Nina Samuels, you've disappointed.
Oh,
I'm done with this Nina Samuels show.
It seems like after.
So we have a.
Oh, sorry, but it seems like after Tony Storm, then you have like Piper Niven, and then you have my girl. Oh man, Rhea Ripley, right? After the three of them, there's not a lot of top quality wrestling women in.
She said she thought, and the fans thought as well, that she did exceptional against Tony Storm, and I'm thinking, well, I'm sure you're mistaken about that.
Yeah, she had a pretty poor showing, to be honest. I mean, better than Jenny, but pretty poor.
So then, speaking of Tony Storm, she defeated Candy Floss in the next match with Storm Zero. This was not a bad match, actually. I like Candy Floss.
Yeah, I like Candy Floss too. It seems odd to have her in with Tony Storm. You know, it just seemed two really good people, like, you know, two really good faces fighting each other.
Yep.
Hard to determine who you should cheer for, because on one hand Tony is the champion and she's this really good girl, but then Candy Floss has got this kind of sweetness to her, and I don't mean that as a pun, but she's just a very sweet wrestler, sweet personality that it felt weird. Who do you cheer for? Against?
Yeah, and Tony Storm, I was expecting Tony Storm to just take most of this match, but Candy Floss showed some stuff in this match.
Very surprising. Very surprising.
Yep. Yeah, she did well. I almost thought there was a moment during the match where she was getting frustrated. She was just gonna snap.
Then we have go on. Tell about after the match.
Oh, after the match, yes. So after the match, Candy Floss is walking back up the ramp, and where she's attacked by Kaylee Ray, who is the number one contender to Tony Storm's championship.
Now, here's my problem with all of this. Okay, Kaylee Ray is a great wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee Ray is a competent wrestler, but she is by no means imposing or big. And it just seems very weird for her to be like this monster sneaking out. I think it's a weird attack. They keep trying to book her like she's like 6 feet tall, and she's like lucky if she's 5'3".
Didn't she already do some sneaking to win the Battle Royal?
Yeah. She already. She didn't even win that in dominant fashion yet. We're supposed to believe she's this big, dominant, tough guy who beats Candy Floss down. I'm not sure if I like Kaylee Ray, but I'm not sure if I like the way she's being presented right now, and I don't think it's going to go over well. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am.
Yep. And then we had the Ligero interview, and of course we had Trent Seven giving us an update, and he said that the best way to go after Imperium is to cut off the head of the snake, and that means going after Walter. It's not about championships.
This was the first time Trent Seven seemed like a cool guy in British Strong Style. You know, you had Pete Dunne, who was like super intense, right? You had Tyler Bate, who was like he was the tougher guy, he could do it. And Trent Seven just kind of seemed like this chubby dude with a towel in the back, kind of grinning. He came to the forefront, and he seemed like he was going to go out there and kick Walter's ass if he got a chance. And I want to see this.
Yeah, I want to see this match. Then we had, of course, next week we've got Mark Andrews and Cassius Ohno. Don't care. In the main event.
Oh, you're gonna love this one. It's your 3 favorite wrestlers, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sure you're mistaken about that. But
your 6 favorite wrestlers.
I'm sure you're mistaken times 2. But I'm gonna tell you, there's another word that I swear this word might have to go in the book. Okay. Because I heard it once. It's a 6-bearded brawl.
Oh, brother.
When I heard it the first time, I was like, okay, maybe this is just one time that they're doing it. No, they did it again. I'm like, okay,
that's
you know what?
Cool. Not cool.
I think we found.
Feel like it has to make up words that are just stupid to describe situations that we know. I don't know. It just kind of ticks me off that this sort of thing.
I think we found our entry for this week.
Well, you know what? It seems like we're having a bit of technical difficulties, but I'm going to keep on going here until my good friend Elio pops back up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we just lost you for a sec. Don't worry, we're keeping it rolling.
All right, okay.
Let's talk your main event. Your two favorite
The main event,
groups.
my six favorites. I'm sure you're mistaken, but Gallus beat the Hunt and Dave Mastiff, who they call the Bomber. I don't understand what he's bombing. His matches are what's bombing.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
Tell us how you really feel, gentlemen.
You know what? This should have been called Snooze Fest 2019. Like, who cares about the three idiots, the primate, the boar, and the fat dude?
Yep.
And then you've got the boring Coffee Brothers team. What do they call themselves?
Gallus. I even have it written down here. Don't really care about this match or either of the two teams.
Yeah. I mean, these are... Okay, first of all, you got these up-and-coming cartoons who aren't doing all that well. And Gallus, who's definitely... After, it used to be Gallus might be a threat, but I mean... The Imperium and British Strong Style have put them in the dust.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about Gallus. Their moms don't care about them anymore. They've given up. Gallus, maybe it's time you guys gave up.
So, there we have our NXT UK episode for this week.
Okay, overall, looking at it, how would you rate this week's show?
This was... aside from the main event, the Ilya Dragunov match was pretty good. Tony Storm, I'm going to have to give it a B for this one.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to give it a B also. I'm going to agree. It's too bad the main event suffered from, crapitis. But I guess that's what happens when you put in Gallus and the 1980s cartoon heroes.
Crapitis, yeah. It's a word. Look it up in the medical dictionary.
Alrighty. Let's move on now to MLW Fusion.
Okay.
And, MLW Fusion, I'm going to say right off the hop, it was fun this week. There was lots of little things that, made me laugh.
Okay.
Lots of Mance, which really made me cheer.
Oh.
Mance Warner is the man.
Could MLW win the race 3 weeks in a row?
At this rate it might. First of all, I want to talk about Ace Austin versus Airwolf. Okay?
Oh, no. Oh.
Now, Ace Austin, they come out, right? Ace Austin is there. He wants a rematch because Airwolf defeated him.
Is he going to cry? Is he going to pull out a magic trick?
Oh, you know what? He did pull out a crappy magic trick in this match.
Oh, my God.
When Airwolf was coming off the rope, first he threw a card, one of his playing cards, at the referee. The referee picks it up. And as the referee turns around to throws it, Airwolf comes off the top rope, and Austin kind of inflates his cane so it hits Airwolf in the nuts.
Oh,
and
my
it takes
God.
It takes Airwolf down, and he gets the 3 count. Now,
wait a minute, would that be a disqualification?
But the referee was looking away, throwing away the playing card, so he didn't see it.
Oh my God! Okay.
Now, I know this is a terrible way to do this cane thing, which I make fun of a lot. But here's the thing: it made sense. Ace Austin is this weasel who wants to get back his win over this 18-year-old kid. I laughed when I was listening to the commentary because they were saying stuff like Jim Cornette was saying how Airwolf was 18 years old and Ace Austin was 22, but Ace Austin was making nowhere as much money as Airwolf was in his contracts. It was kind of a funny thing to hear.
Okay.
It set the table a bit to make Ace Austin look like, okay, you know what? He's a bit of a weasel. He's kind of a jerk, but he has to get some wins in or his ego gets stopped, right?
Okay.
The next match coming up, well, first of all, we cut to this thing where we find out that somebody has stolen L.A. Park's golden ticket, which makes kind of dumb sense. This is where he gets to cash that in against whatever. I don't see how you could steal that. I mean, even in WWE, if you stole the briefcase, you don't get to use the briefcase. But here, somebody had stolen this thing. They have Ricky Martinez in the back, and he's looking around, and he thinks Mance is hidden in this box. So he takes this big crowbar and he starts beating the box. And while he's beating the box, Mance comes behind him, beats the crap out of him, then picks up the phone and looks at it and says, "I'm coming for you, Selena. 1 down." Oh, the Southern Redneck's getting a little feisty.
Yeah.
Okay. We go into this next match, and now I gotta say, if you're a low-key fan, if you paid to go see Low-Key, you might be just disappointed because his matches lately have been lasting 20 seconds. Wow. He went out there and he kneed that kid in the head, Ariel Dominguez. Boom.
Ariel Dominguez, yep.
So now
referee stoppage.
Yeah. Low key is being portrayed right now as a force of nature who is kicking the crud out of anyone who gets in the ring with him. Unfortunately,
Okay.
that means you don't get to see him very much. We cut to another video where what's his name? We've got L.A. Park trapped in this cage. We
Oh
have
no.
the little pepper guy. What's his name? El Hijo de la Los Angeles
El
Park.
Hijo de Los Angeles Park.
He is laid out, and
Sent.
Selena is looking over him. And then
Oh.
Selena gets up because Mance goes after her, and they cut away. Now, fans,
Oh.
I know it sounds like, oh, this seems like a woman in peril, and we were talking about this, but this was a story that didn't even show us anything. It
Yeah,
gave the
this
idea that
is
Vance was
different.
going
You're
to do
not.
something. We had no idea.
Yep.
Maybe if they graphically showed us something bad, I would have been down on this, but it just made intrigue of the story. What
Yes.
is Mance going to do when he grabs Selena, right?
And that's the
don't know.
difference between this and what we asked in our poll.
Yeah, I mean, this is different than him like running over with a baseball bat and hitting her with it, or
Yep.
pile driving her on the floor or something. But who knows? Maybe with this whole edgy thing, if MLW makes the horrible decision next week to show us Selena getting beat out by Mance, we're going to be hard on that too, because
Oh
that's something we
no.
don't like.
I hope
Now-
you don't put him in the book.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't want to put Mance in the book. That guy rocks. Okay, now the main event. We went to Richard Holiday and MJF defeating Brian Pillman and Teddy Hart for the MLW Tag Team belts in a ladder match.
This was a surprise.
It was a surprise. A lot of craziness going on. I wondered about it too because, originally it was Davey Boy Smith who decided he was going to let Brian Pillman Jr. fill in, and in the end, Pillman is the one who eats the pin. So I don't know if that's, set up for down the road of Pillman being in the doghouse, or if it was just showing that that they weren't at their strongest yet when they get defeated. Could go either way.
Okay.
Finally got to see Holiday, and you know what? I'm kind of impressed with this guy. He has a really good look for a wrestler, and his skills aren't the best, but they're not atrociously horrible. MJF, that guy kills me, man. He's a fairly standard good wrestler, but his characterisms is hilarious. Like, he refused to get up on the ladder. He was terrified. He took up one step on the ladder, and he just was scared to go any further.
The man's afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights.
He actually got scared when Hammerstone put him on his shoulders to parade him around. He looked very uncomfortable, like he wanted off now. So that was this week's MLW. I'm gonna rate this MLW as an A. Not an A+.
Definitely.
It wasn't out the thing, but it was a very strong showing. The Mance stuff was intriguing.
Yep.
The wrestling was really good. They're portraying low key definitely on a collision course with Selena's group. Probably L.A. Park, I would think, is who he's going to eventually go with. It was nice not to see the Von Erichs. I'm not really sold on them yet. And MJF and Holiday winning the tag team belts, making a curious situation where the Dynasty holds 3 belts right now, and at the cost of the Hart Foundation. And now we have coming up, I believe we have MJF has challenged Teddy Hart for a match, so that will be really interesting to see if they also go with Teddy losing the junior heavyweight title.
And then we also have their event at the Melrose Ballroom on the 25th of this month.
I hope it's a good one. I'm very interested.
Yeah,
MLW
that
so
one,
far has been
I
very
can't
fun.
wait. That's we're going to see the return of Savio Vega.
Yes. I wonder how old he's going to look. All right, well, let's move on now to ROH. And correct me if I'm wrong, but man, ROH is starting to become Impact, not in stupidness, but in boringness.
I can't even tell you that, when I was watching this earlier tonight, and when I saw this opening match, I couldn't believe that they put this as the first match. We had Shane Taylor, ROH Television Champion, defeating Rhett Titus.
Oh my lord. At least it wasn't the Shinobi Shit Squad, right?
No, this was a boring, flat match. A completely boring, flat is what I've written down. And at the end, Kenny King comes into the ring. Now, I never like to agree with the moron, but I'm going to have to agree with Kenny King, because he took the mic and told Red Titus what he just saw was disgusting.
Yeah. Wow, hey. You know that you are horrible when Kenny King calls you out. When the King of Boring calls you out as being boring, man,
And
you
I
have to be
swear,
bad.
I think we may have another entry for the book because what Red Titus did in this match at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
he went to shake Shane Taylor's hand. Shane Taylor spit at him, and he took his hand and wiped it on his chest.
Okay, that's
You know?
Sammy Callahan disgusting. I'm gonna say we take a 1 week thought about this, and next week
Okay.
we'll decide if Ret Titus goes into the book.
All right, because
All right.
this match was just. So then in the second match we had four-way. It was the Allure, all three members of the Allure taking on Tasha Steele and I can't think of the other one's name, but it was Tasha Steele coming out with the win in this match.
Sounds boring.
And in the main event, it was Jay Lethal and the Bouncers defeating the Kingdom. Now,
Well, wait, that was the main event.
That was the main event.
The Bouncers and the Kingdom were in the main
That was the
event.
main event.
Oh.
Only with Jay Lethal as your tag team partner could you pull out a win and be in the main event.
Yeah,
Because the Bouncers,
the Bouncers aren't the greatest at all, man. I mean,
no, they're not. I'm not a fan
not
of
even
the
good.
Bouncers.
they're not
I
even
might-
good.
No, I might have had my drinks at the bar over the weekend, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the Bouncers.
Yikes.
So I avoided getting bounced out.
Well, after watching this week's show, how would you rate this week's ROH?
Oh, I have to give this C minus.
A C minus. Ooh,
A C
cut it.
No,
I'm gonna
it
give
was
it.
just.
Sorry, go on.
No, it was just. I don't know. I didn't find anything enjoyable here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it. I'm gonna give this week's in half. It's rare for me to do this, but I mean, there wasn't one redeeming quality on this week's show.
No, I mean.
There wasn't
yeah.
anything that was exciting, anything intriguing. It was a whole pile of crap, and I'm not a fan.
No,
Not a fan.
it was terrible. I couldn't believe that they would actually put that match as the opener. Usually the opening match is supposed to set you up for the rest of the show, to get you excited about the rest of the show. This one didn't do anything.
That's not good. So, fans, Elliot, get out our tally book and let's see how we have rated and who's doing well in our rankings. Out of the three
Okay.
teams, if you score the highest score receives 2 points, the middle score 1 point, and the team with the lowest score puts a 0. So, which shows are, after you've tallied in the new things, who is winning this week? Who's the middle and who's last?
So last week we had NXT with 1, MLW with 2 points, and ROH with 0. So putting MLW in the lead with 5, NXT in second with 4, and ROH with 0.
Okay. Now we add the new ones to it, right?
Yep.
So then that would probably, I'm guessing, put us at 7 points for MLW.
So let's see. We gave MLW. I'm just pulling up my notepad here.
Yeah.
So we're going to give MLW an A, so they get 2 points. NXT with 1 point, and ROH, again, I'm sorry, but 0 points. So that put that MLW still in the lead 3 weeks in a row.
And so what is their final score? 7 points?
It is 5-7-0.
5-7-0.
Wait, so
You mean 7-5-0. 7 for MLW, 5 for NXT, and 0 for ROH?
yeah, so I was looking at it from the way I have it written down, because I have NXT, MLW, ROH.
Well, you know what? ROH is in some serious crap here.
They
For
are.
3 weeks in a row, they've finished 0. I really hope this isn't the trend, but like I've said to other guys on POV and that, it seems like that the AEW and Impact are really kind of taking a lot out of the quality of ROH right now, and New Japan. So ROH might be in some kind of desperation of phasing itself out, and I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, this is terrible. 3 weeks in a row with 0 points.
You know what, Elio? This week, I don't think we're going to open the book. We're going to save the book for next week.
Yep.
I'm on vacation. I don't want to be as cruel and unusual as I usually am. I'm just going to say, fans, there was some really good wrestling. There was some okay wrestling, and there was some crappy wrestling. And that is the world of professional wrestling these days. You want good wrestling? Tune into New Japan. So far, I have not seen anything That's been horrible. I mean, you get great matches where you get guys beating the crap out of each other, like Ishii versus Cobb. You get outstanding wrestling matches where you get to see stuff like Okada versus White, or even just funny stuff where you got to see like Yano taking on
Toriano.
Shingo.
Toriano is surprising me
Hmm.
in this G1.
Is who?
So no, I was saying Toriano is surprising me with
Toriano.
Yeah.
He's like this every year, man. He will peter out a bit, but he usually has some strong openings.
Okay.
He's a spoiler to a few guys, but yeah, he averages about 8 to 10 points.
Okay.
So he's good for 4 or 5 wins
All right.
out of 10. So that's pretty good. So folks, you know what? I gotta tell you, I've had a fun week, despite the fact it's been a crazy week. I just yesterday finally caught up on some sleep. Today I was feeling a little crappy. I'm glad that I am on a mini vacation out here in the sunny Okanagan. For all you Americans who are wondering what the heck the Okanagan is, or anyone else in the world, look it up. All right? I'm not your educator. I'm your host. Yes, I can still be a jerk. And great stuff. Keep watching wrestling. We look for, you know what, Elio? Tell them all the social media junk, where they can hear the show, and where they can get a hold of us if they'd like to, I don't know, try to verbally spar with me.
Okay,
which is okay.
Saying
verbally spar with anybody.
You can catch WPOV Global and WPOV on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and Podbean, and you can find us on Facebook at Wrestling POV Podcast, on Instagram at Wrestling POV1, and on Twitter at Wrestling POV.
And I'd like to throw out to all you fans, if you enjoy our show and you want a show a little bit funnier and a little bit more very WWE eccentric, try out Wrestling POV.
And
you have some.
And I want to help.
Sorry?
No, go on. I was gonna say, after you're done, I'm gonna help the guys out a bit.
Okay. Well, you know what? They're a pretty good show. They're a very good show. I mean, you have such outstanding hosts as Rick Serrano III. You have some middling hosts like Mimi Goody. And you even have a bit of Dreadful and Big Tony Diaz. And thank goodness they don't have that stupid sock puppet for what reasons, I don't know. Maybe he had to get fumigated.
Miguel,
He's
where
off
are
somewhere in the land of... Who cares? All right, moving on. Elio, I'm going to say goodnight and wish the folks a thing. You tell the people what you want to tell them, and then you wish them a good night. Okay, so fans, thank you. For all of you fans across Canada, the United States, across Europe and Asia, down as far as Australia, and up high as north as the Netherlands and Russia. We enjoy you tuning into us. We like you as part of our family. Keep watching. Write us a letter. Tell us what you think is great wrestling, and we'll try and take a look at it. So for the legend T. James Logan, have a great night. Elio, you finish the show.
All right, so before we sign off, let me help the guys over at WPOV, because after listening to their show, they were trying to figure out the singer who Mark Merrill was mimicking when he was his Johnny B. Bad character. That was not Chuck Berry, that was Little Richard.
What did they say, Chuck Berry?
They said Chuck Berry. It was Little Richard.
It was Little Richard. Come on, guys.
Yes.
Oh man, these were American.
They're 2 out of 3.
Too much Cardi B.
2 out of 3 ain't bad song. That's Meatloaf off of the Bad Out of Hell CD from 1977.
Well, it would have been a record by then, but yeah, you get the point. Who did they say that was?
Oh, they didn't. They weren't sure who sang that song.
Oh my lord, this is what happens when you listen to too much Cardi B. It rots your mind. Folks, Alanis Morissette, she ought to know, man. It's ironic, don't you think?
I'm such a vault of musical knowledge, so I thought I'd just put that out there and help the guys out.
In other words, you wanted to rub their face in their mistakes.
No, I just want to be helpful. I'm a gentleman like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, okay, I'm sure you're mistaken, gentlemen. All right. We'll see you next week, bro.